Namaskar everyone and greetings to you on the occasion of Swami Ramanujacharya Jayanthi. As you are all aware, Swami Ramanujacharya, who is known as Jagadacharya also, was one of the great acharyas who propounded the doctrine of Vishishtadvaita philosophy. So on this occasion, today as we celebrate his Jayanti, let us learn something about Swami Ramanujacharya in connection with his message of social harmony. Let us start with prarthanas. Lakshminatha samarambham nathayamuna madhyamam asmadacharya paryantam vande guru paramparam. Let us offer our obeisance at the lotus feet of Swami Ramanujacharya. Yo nityamachyuta padambuja yukma rugma vyamohatastaditarani trinaya mene asmadguror bhagavatosya dayaika sindhoho Ramanujasya charanau sharanam prapadye. So as we said, our topic for today is the role of Swami Ramanujacharya in social harmony. In fact, recognizing this role of Swami Ramanuja, the Statue of Equality was established in Hyderabad in the year 2023 by Sri 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 Chinnajiyar Swamiji. Now, why has so much importance been given to Swami Ramanuja as an icon of equality? It was because of the qualities that he preached as well as practiced throughout his life. Now, it is said that we can learn about a person's attitude not from what they speak, but from how they led their life. So, if Swami Ramanuja is considered as an icon of equality and social harmony, then there must be events in his life that have shown how he practiced this, isn't it? So let us take a look at some of these incidents so that we understand what was the bhava of Swami Ramanuja and what was the spirit that guided all his work in the spiritual and social fields. So the very first incident that we can talk about is that during those times, now remember, Swami Ramanujacharya was born in the year 1017, and that was such a long time ago. And during those times, the caste system was very much in place. And it was considered that associating with somebody other than your caste is equivalent to sacrilege. So in those times, when Swami Ramanuja found that the person called Kanchipurna was a great devotee of the Lord Varadaraja at Kanchipuram, he decided that Kanchipurna would be his guru. Now, Ramanuja was born in the Brahmin caste. Kanchipurna was not belonging to that caste. He was a Vaishya by birth. And he approached Kanchipurna, well against the dictates of those times. When Kanchipurna heard this request, he said, how can I be your guru? It is prohibited by the rules of the Varna system. So Ramanuja said that what is important is the bhakti that one has. All are equal in front of God. Then how can I make a distinction between somebody who is Brahmana and non-Brahmana? In fact, everybody knew that Kanchipurna was such a great devotee that Lord Varadaraja would converse with him directly as he performed the seva of fanning the Lord. So when this is the situation, naturally Ramanuja realized that he is a great elevated soul and he wanted to learn from Kanchipurna. So this was the first instance where Ramanuja exhibited this quality of social harmony, of seeing everybody as equal based on the bhakti and devotion that they have, the knowledge that they have, rather than the family into which they are born. Much later, when Swami Ramanuja was, at a very advanced stage, there was one disciple who was very dear to him. And this disciple was known as Dhanurdasa. Now, this Dhanurdasa also belonged to a category other than the Brahmanas. In fact, whenever Swami used to come out of the river Kaveri, after bathing in the Kaveri, after taking his bath, he would put his arm around the shoulders and lean on Dhanurdasa for support. All the other Brahmana Shishyas of Ramanuja found this very irritating. They said, how can somebody, after bathing, put his hand around this non-Brahmana. But Swami Ramanujacharya showed them through a test that he conducted that Dhanurdasa was very well qualified with the qualities of complete surrender to the Lord, of complete faith in the Lord. And Ramanuja explained that these are the qualities that one should value more than the caste of the person. So here again we find Swami Ramanuja demonstrating through his behavior how it is important for one to look at what is the most important aspect rather than looking at things like birth in a particular family or a particular kula. Another example of Swami Ramanujacharya's social outlook can be found when we see how he laid down the rules for temple administration. Whether it was at Srirangam, where he was based most of the time, or at Melkote, where he came and stayed for a period of 12 years when he fled the tyranny of the kings in Tamil Nadu. In both these instances, Swami Ramanuja laid down definite rules where he split up the sevas of the temple to different people of different categories. Everybody had a role to play, whether it was the gardener who was taking care of the garden, whether it was somebody who was cleaning the temple, whether it was the person who was ringing the bell at the temple, whether it was someone who was performing worship at the temple. All of them had a definite role to play. And Swami Ramanuja made sure they were all given sthana in worship of the Lord. In fact, if you know the incident of how Swami Ramanuja recovered the idol of the Lord from Delhi Sultan, he had gone there to bring that murti, which had been taken away by the Sultan when they conquered the Karnataka kingdom. So when he brought that murti back, the soldiers of the Sultan had come and tried to attack them. At that point of time, there were a lot of people in the surrounding villages who helped Swami to get the idol back safely, to bring the murti of Ramapriyan safely back to Melkote. So at that time, all those people did so much seva, and Ramanuja was moved by the service that they performed. And he decided that from this moment on, those people should also get the blessings of the Lord. And he invited them. He threw open the temple doors to all of them. They were hesitant. They said, "We are untouchables. How can we enter into the temple?" Because indeed, those were the rules at that time. But Swami Ramanuja said, "You are all the children of God. The same God who is in me, the same Lord who is in this murti of Ramapriyan is also residing in you. Who am I? Who is anybody to tell that you can't come and have darshan of the Lord?" Again, if you remember the systems at those times, there were rigid rules about who could enter the temple, who could do what in the temple. And yet, Swami Ramanuja made sure that he had a broad-minded outlook to be able to include everyone, to see the merit of every individual based on the bhakti that they had. Now we may wonder, where did Swami Ramanuja get this spirit of openness? Indeed, it was because he was a great and ardent follower of the teachings of the Alvars. The Alvars are the great saints of Tamil Nadu who were steeped in devotion to the Lord, Sriman Narayana. Out of all the 12 Alvars who are there, not many of them were belonging to the Brahmana caste. And yet, each one of them has sung so much in glory of the Lord. And they have shared the most esoteric secrets which were given in the Vedas in those compositions of theirs, which are called as the Divya Prabandha. Now, another thing we need to remember here is regarding this Melkote incident. If you have visited the shrine at Melkote, you will find at the feet of the Lord Ramapriya, Cheluvanarayana, there is a tiny idol of one Devi there. And she is very fondly known as Bibi Nachiyar. Now, how did this come to happen? It was Swami Ramanuja who gave her the sthana there. Because if you remember, we said the Sultan had taken away the idol, and that murti of the Lord had become very close to the daughter of that Sultan. She was so fond of that Lord that she would play with him, she would feed him, and she had so much devotion to that murti of the Lord. When Swami Ramanuja brought back that murti, she came after that in search of her Lord. She was inconsolable. Nobody could do anything to her. She came all the way to Melkote, and there, as soon as she saw her Lord in the temple, she went and, a flame emerged from her and merged into the feet of the Lord. Recognizing this great bhakti of this Sultan's daughter, the Swami gave her a sthana at the feet of the Lord. Until today, she is having that position. She is known as Bibi Nachiyar, Bibi for her name, and Nachiyar means Devi in Tamil. So we find here the sense of social equality that Ramanujacharya had is even further level, that not just caste, he does not bother about caste, but he is not bothered about the religion of the person also, as long as that person is a devotee of the Lord, as long as that person has completely surrendered everything to the Lord. So this was the bhava of Swami Ramanuja. Now, as I mentioned, another aspect where Swami Ramanujacharya proposed and propagated this idea of social harmony was when it comes to language. Today we find that, okay, we know in our country there are so many languages and everybody is mostly coexisting with a lot of harmony. But still, many times there are conflicts around language. Here also, Swami Ramanuja was an exemplary, leader, because, as I said already, he drew a lot of inspiration from the works of the Alvars. And that Dravida Veda or the Divya Prabandha is in Tamil. Now, he studied these and he found and he highlighted the fact that this Dravida Veda is explaining all those concepts, all those theories, all the tattvas which are there in the Samskrita Veda at par. Now, what is the problem with the Samskrita Veda? It is restricted, the study of that Veda is restricted to only particular categories, isn't it? Those who don't belong to the Brahmana Varna, those who have not undergone the Yajnopavita Samskara, women, right, are not eligible to study the Veda, Samskrita Veda. But the Alvar's composition, the Dravida Veda, is available to everybody. And it is in the simple language which everyday people speak. So its meanings have a lot of value for those who may not be able to understand Samskrita also. So by putting this Dravida Veda on par with the Samskrita Veda, he ensured that the teachings of the great rishis are available to the common man. As I said already, many parts of these Divya Prabandha were composed by the great Alvar, the foremost among the Alvars, called as Nammalvar. And that Nammalvar did not belong to the Brahmana caste, but he was considered as a very great preceptor, a very great Acharya and Guru by Swami Ramanuja. In fact, have you noticed that when you go to the temple, any Vishnu temple, when you, before you are given the tirtha, they place a shatari on your head, isn't it? That shatari is a representation of Swami Nammalvar. It is said that if somebody is blessed by Nammalvar, that person, the Lord considers him eligible to get moksha. So by establishing this system of having people blessed with the shatari, which is a representation of Nammalvar, by making this Dravida Veda popular so that everybody has access to it, Swami Ramanuja showed his role, and he played an active role in bringing about this social harmony. In fact, even till today, whenever any utsava is conducted, any of these temples where Swami Ramanuja's guidelines are followed, in all those temples, whenever there is an utsava, there is a goshti, there is a group of people who recite the Dravida Veda, and that Dravida Veda is given pride of place. Those people reciting the Dravida Veda walk in front of the Murti of the Lord. Then the Murti follows them, and behind them come the group of people who are reciting the Samskrita Veda. So this was the great role that Swami Ramanuja played in bringing about this sense of equality in terms of language also. Now, whatever Swami Ramanuja has done, as we have learned through all these episodes, it shows us very clearly that his whole outlook was on making sure that everybody in society had access to God. Now, there is one episode which is the most famous episode perhaps, and which shows us even more clearly how great was the karuna of Swami Ramanuja, how great was his compassion that he wanted everybody to have the marga to reach mukti. So, after Swami Ramanuja had got initiated into the fold of Sri Vaishnavism, there was one very great guru whom he was told to seek out. This guru was called as Tirukoshtiyor Nambi. He was also called as Goshti Purna. So he went to Goshti Purna to get initiation into the Rahasya mantras. Rahasya mantras are the secret mantras which are told only by the Guru to the Shishya. Now, when he went to Goshti Purna said, "You come back next time, I will teach you." So Ramanuja went back to Srirangam. Again, Swami Ramanuja came, and again Goshti Purna sent him back. 17 times this happened. 17 times Swami Ramanuja traveled from Srirangam to Tirukoshtiur. And each time, and you know how journeys were in those times, isn't it? Each time he was sent back, saying, "Come back again." Not once did he complain. Finally, the 18th time when he reached there, Goshti Purna realized that yes, Ramanuja is indeed a sincere and earnest devotee who wants to learn these Rahasya mantras. So finally, he taught him the meaning of those mantras. He taught him those mantras. He also gave him the meanings of those mantras. And he told him that this is such a great and powerful mantra that if you say this and you keep repeating it, moksha is guaranteed for you. But Goshti Purna warned. He said, this is to be taught only to people who are eligible to receive it. This is to be taught only to those who are deserving of it. They should have reached a particular level of, refinement. They should have reached a particular level of Shuddhikarana, and only then you should teach them. If you tell this to anybody who is not eligible, then you will be severely punished. You will be sent to hell for this. Swami Ramanuja listened to all this. And even as he came out from the ashrama of his guru, he was thinking about this constantly, that if this is such a powerful mantra, why should I not reveal it to everybody? How can I keep it only to myself? What we need to understand here, as we said in the initial prayer when we chanted the invocatory verse, he is Dayayika Sindhu. He is an ocean of compassion. So he was moved by the thought that if this is such a powerful mantra, how can I keep it only for myself? I must share it with everybody. I must show this path to attain mukti. Everybody in this world is, suffering in this samsara sagara. I have to teach this to everybody so that all of them can get mukti. So great was his, inspiration that he rushed to the temple top. He called out, "All of you, whoever is interested in learning the path to mukti, come here. I will teach you." And he taught them the meanings of those mantras. Now, this was sacrilege according to the Guru, isn't it? So, as soon as somebody, naturally, the news went to Goshti Purna. He summoned Ramanuja and was very angry with him. He said, "What is this you have done? I told you very clearly that you are not supposed to reveal this to anybody. And you have stood there on the temple top and you have taught this to everyone. How could you do this? You know that I told you that you will go to hell for this sin that you have committed." Ramanuja very humbly said, "Guru, Acharya, I am very sorry. According to what you told me, I have not followed your words. And I am apologetic for that. But if by my single person going to hell, if all the others can get mukti, isn't that the more important thing? I don't mind going to hell. I don't mind naraka. I will experience all that. I will bear that punishment. But if by listening to this mantra, everybody else is going to get mukti, isn't that the greater thing that we should be looking at?" And Goshti Purna was shocked and he was surprised to see this compassion of Ramanuja. He rushed and embraced Ramanuja and he gave him the name Emperumanar, the one who is greater than Emperuman. Emperuman is the Lord Sriman Narayana, the one who is even greater than that Lord in his compassion for the devotees. So this was the spirit of Swami Ramanuja. He did not mind bearing personal discomfort and suffering if it was going to benefit all his other fellow beings. In the same bhava of wanting everyone to get the path to moksha, on the auspicious occasion of Falguni Uttara, which is called as Panguni Uttaram in Tamil, he performed Sharanagati in front of the Divya Dampati, in front of Lord Ranganatha and Devi Ranganayaki in Sri Rangam. And there, when he conversed with the Lord asked him, "What do you seek?" He said, "I ask you that moksha should be guaranteed to me." The Lord said, "Definitely. If not you, then whom we will give moksha?" Again, he asked, "Not only me, O Lord, but anybody who has sambandha with me, they should also be granted moksha by you." And the Lord was so pleased with this request of Ramanuja that he willingly agreed and he said, "Yes, I grant that anybody who has Ramanuja Sambandha is guaranteed moksha. And based on this assurance of the Lord, Swami Ramanuja then set up 74 Simhasanadipatis. They are seats, they are the mathas, where the acharyas performed what is called as Pancha Samskaram. This is a ritual which involves, making a person enter the Sri Vaishnava fold. There is no restriction on gender, there is no restriction on age, there is no restriction on caste, there is no restriction on class, no restrictions at all. Anybody who wants to undergo this Pancha Samskara ritual is free to choose one of the Mathadipatis and take this initiation into the Sri Vaishnava fold. Once somebody gets into this fold, he no longer has his identity as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or anything else in this world, as a woman, as a man. Everybody is just Ramanuja Dasa. And by being a Dasa of this Ramanuja, Ramanuja was a great Dasa of the Lord. And by being a Dasa of this Ramanuja, people have the marga to attain moksha. So this was the great vision of Swami Ramanuja. And this was the great life of Swami Ramanuja, where he lived the very ideals that he talked about, that he preached about. So today we have talked about, to summarize, certain events in the life of Swami Ramanuja, where we understood that he always sought to put an end to the factors which divide society. We saw the example of how he chose Kanchipurna to be his guru, although he was not belonging to the Brahmana category. How he chose to take support from Dhanurdasa, his Shishya, who was not belonging to Brahmana category. How he made the temple administration and distribution of seva at the temples in Melkote and Srirangam and many other places, so that everybody, irrespective of their caste and gender, has a chance, an opportunity to serve the Lord. We saw how he was the proponent of Ubhaya Vedanta, where there is equal importance given to the Samskrita Veda and the Dravida Veda. We saw how he took the holy mantras, the secret Rahasya mantras from Tirukoshtiur Nambi, and spread that to everybody in the world, so that they have the marga to attain moksha. We saw how he performed Sharanagati to Lord Ranganatha and Ranganayaki Tayar, so that everybody who comes into contact with him is guaranteed moksha. So when all these things we have discussed about, shouldn't we feel that he was indeed and truly Jagadacharya? No wonder then that the statue of equality was established by Chinnajiyar Swami at Hyderabad. Not only that, following that, even many other places. If you are aware, the Yadugiri Yatiraja Matha of Melkote has established statues of Swami Ramanuja at many different places in India, 4 places to be specific. In Kashmir, in Srinagar, Ramanuja statue has been established as the statue of peace, so that he brings harmony to that region. In Ayodhya, in Uttar Pradesh, the statue of Swami Ramanuja has been set up as the statue of dignity. In Kanyakumari, in Tamil Nadu, there is Ramanuja's statue of harmony. And in Puri, Odisha, the statue of sanctity has been set up in homage to Swami Ramanuja. So let us pray that Swami Ramanuja blesses all of us to try and adopt these principles in our life. Wherever we are looking at divisive factors, may his blessings guide us to go towards the path of seeing all as one, of seeing all as children of the same God. In the Ramanuja philosophy, it is told that the Jivatma is in all of us. And as we know, the Paramatma is there. So we, the Jivatmas, are all children of this Paramatma. Isn't it our role to take this teaching of Swami Ramanuja and learn to look upon everybody around us with a bhava of samatva, with an equality perspective? When all of us start doing this, definitely this world, the situation around us, the environment that we have in our society will turn much more positive than what it is today. So let us offer Kritagnyata at the holy feet of Swami Ramanuja, at the Paduka of Swami Ramanuja, and pray that he blesses us to be able to adopt this attitude. I am grateful to Disha Bharat for giving me the opportunity to share these few thoughts and these few ideas of Swami Ramanuja. Thank you, everybody. Namaskar.